Mommy, can you have some peanut butter crackers?
Why can't Garrett ask? I'm on a thing.
Mommy, I'm hungry.
Then go eat. Hello. Nobody's here.
Hey!
Hey, got one.
Got one.
Chastity's still having problems, so I reset the link. But it still looks like it's almost the same one.
I got the one from 656 is the one I'm using.
Okay, well, it was the same one. I just canceled the other and restarted it for now, and it looked like it was the same link.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure they changed a space or some letter somewhere in there.
I was thinking I changed the other one so many times, maybe it messed up, but let's see if she's got it yet.
Oh, goodness.
At least the computer works this time.
Yeah, so you had you ran out of you lost the power cord. Is that what you said happened?
Yeah, right where the power adapter goes in, the cord had a little kink in it, and I thought it was just, you know, like the protective covering peeled back on it, but apparently it was something more than that because it would not charge, and no one in this town has one. So luckily they were able to order one from California. None of the computer stores, the Batteries Plus and More, is the people that could get it for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Bye, hon.
Bye, hon.
Miss Frost said bye too. She saw you. Nothing.
She said what?
She's crazy. She's going to Bible study is where she's headed.
Mm-hmm. What do you need, baby?
Or a variation thereof.
Good night. Mm-hmm. Say hi. Good night.
Night.
Tell Garrett when he gets done to come tell me good night. No tablets.
7 o'clock, huh?
Well, I'm going to give her another minute because it's going to be short and sweet.
Your daughter, now that was your eldest daughter, your oldest daughter, your youngest daughter?
That was the baby.
Oh.
G? Know what?
I got Shelly a nice Christmas tree because I thought she was hungry too. And then Shelly came in and said, "That's a big fat lie. You weren't going to give her anything." And I was.
Okay, well, I'm on air. This is being recorded. So if you would like to go make a sandwich, go make one.
I can.
Yes, you can. Jesus Christ. Right back. Shelby, go to bed. No, we ain't peeing. Get in here. Go to bed. Turn that light off.
Nobody knows the troubles I've seen. Nobody knows my sorrow. Oh, dang, that was a good one there. Nobody knows the troubles I've seen.
Banana, don't eat anymore.
Knows my sorrow.
Chin? Yay!
She's on.
Okay. Sorry, had baby problems. All right, let me get this screen share going for all the happiness. All right. Can y'all see the PowerPoint?
I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're just going to finish where we were last week. Goes over the in-task principles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. talking about meeting district standards, high stakes testing. We went over the relating curriculum to standards and reviewing each one of our lessons. What's the purpose? How are you teaching it? Why now? Does it have to do with a bigger unit of study, or is it an individual small thing you're teaching? Which standards relate, and why did you select these? Because most of our curriculums have a page long of standards that each lesson meets, so the ones that we pick or choose to select for that lesson, the way we're going to teach it, is what we need to really think about. How do you think the students will respond? Will they be engaged, and how do you know? Is there any aspect you anticipate to be challenging, and why? And what is the most valuable part of this lesson that relates to learning? Now, we did this when we met for the breakout, so I'm not going to make y'all do it again. Just a quick review. We also talked about teacher talk time versus student talk time and getting them to kind of run the show as much as possible. Talked about integrating paired sharing into lessons. Allowing discussion time, finding out what they already know, and then have them wrap it up with what they learned. So kind of comparing, what did you learn today? Maybe some read aloud, and we had some ideas that y'all brought out last time. Cody, what was your examples?
I can't remember. They're on that PowerPoint, though. No, they're on that PowerPoint. I thought.
Oh, okay. We'll get to it in just a second.
Oh, okay.
We'll get to it. We went through this already. Not gonna
I think I use labs. You know, a lot of my labs.
That's right.
And making the kids assign roles in the lab is one way.
That was it. Okay. And Chastity, do you remember yours?
No. What was it again? I don't.
We were talking about how to increase student talk time. I think we were talking something about you partner them up for physical activities.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, honey. Sorry, I kind of.
It's all right. You had a time getting on here.
Ball game and stuff.
Did y'all win?
Yes, we did.
All right. Well, it was worth it.
Yeah.
All right, and the biggest part we came across last week that we were trying to focus on is relating standards to real life, and finding a way to get the community involved or outside resources working with the school. Mm-hmm. Some of the examples we went over was like recycling center, when it's relating to recycling, guest speakers, class field trips, something like this, a webinar where they've got some trying to think of the name of it.
They use Hangout?
No, it's a new group that just came up. I signed up for it last year, and the technology part didn't link up, but we just got some new technology in our building, so I'm going to try it next year. Where you talk to classrooms across the country, or overseas, so they're linked up, and we just had one of our teachers go to Japan to start teaching over there, so he's wanting to communicate back and forth, so I think that'll be cool for the kids.
Oh, yeah.
All right, the SMART goal was to research school programs that exist already, and then we're going to start talking about the different challenging students in your classroom, and I'm not talking about challenging them, but students that are challenging you, rather. And preparing to discuss how you use cooperative small groups in your class. So let me click over here. Cody, we'll let you go first. Did that pop up for y'all?
I see it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Cody.
All right, so your first question was what school programs are sort of in place. There were a couple we had that we shared with everybody, NHS, 4-H, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. There are kids that are involved in those organizations, and each of those organizations has some, service requirement. One we have at Neville is called Renaissance, and that has academic, but it's mainly an academic sort of program that recognizes academic performance, but I think there's a service requirement with it as well. We had the clean team also at Neville, and that is the group of kids that get together on Saturday mornings and clean up the school grounds after a football game Friday night. So all service. And then just while we were talking here, I remember when we had those days off with the floods, man, there were like 4 groups of kids and teachers that were just like helping.
That's awesome.
We had the football team when the tornado came through and hit Neville. We had the football team cleaning up the neighborhood, picking up sticks and debris and stuff. And so, I mean, even outside of organized programs, there was still service going on, I guess you could say.
Right.
So anyway, those are some that were at our school.
Okay.
And then I guess the second one was how to meet challenging students. I think the biggest point in my department, I mean, not my department, but in my position, you can't meet these kids head to head. You're, especially with male students, you got a problem student, and happens to be male, and you're male too. They take it as a threat almost, and it's some of them, not all of them, but when you have a challenging student, now this is the behavioral challenges. But you can't meet them head to head. You kind of got to go around the issue, and I don't know. There's all kinds of things to it, really, that I've been learning about. As far as academic students, I got the bullet there that says you cannot lose them in the crowd. So for the academic students, you don't want them just to be buried, with the other 27 kids in class. You got to make sure you pull them out and keep them out and separate, and make sure you're tailoring lessons, keeping them interested, keeping them busy, that kind of thing.
How do you do that?
Differentiating as much as possible. I try to tie everything as often as I can. I try to do what I can to tie the topic into their lives. Maybe social, using not really using social media, but finding examples in pop culture and. Sports medicine's a big thing. Anytime you can talk about sports medicine, you got their attention. Football players love to hear about it, and athletes love to hear about sports medicine, and you basically tie everything besides photosynthesis to sports medicine. But I don't know. They seem to respond really well to that when you can do that.
Do you use peer tutoring and?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, peer tutoring, definitely keep the above average kids, keep them involved in a productive way. But I think it also helps the less advanced kids too, because it's not just the teacher up there throwing out vocabulary words. The kid might take the way I phrase it, like the peer tutor can take what I say, and not that they put it into a different language, but they make it sound a little different,
Right, more meaning or more lingo.
More meaning, and it's like. The analogy is I can say the same thing that at a movie or a video shows, and the kids don't learn anything from me. But for whatever reason, when they watch the video, they learn all of it. So it's kind of the same thing with peer tutors. I don't really know what the difference is, but they pick up pretty well on them.
So one other question, the difficult students that you have as far as the male thing going on, how do you handle that, or what do you do?
Well, it's only happened once before, and the kid was it's happened twice before, and the first kid he was I don't know, he was going to challenge everything I said. Everything was a challenge, and I handled that just by I'm pretty good at keeping everything humorous, keeping everything light. So I was able to do that. I wasn't offended by anything or anything like that, and I didn't let it escalate or anything like that, but. You just gotta, you don't know what they're facing at home.
Right.
A lot of these kids, and I don't know, just and I don't want to make it seem like a, male-to-male combat here, but it's just they act differently in a crowd, showing out for their peers essentially.
Right.
So,
rather than an authority male figure.
Yeah, and I hate to be called an authority figure, but I'm definitely an authority figure in the classroom. And it's just acting out the same way they would do to any other authority figure if they had the chance.
Gotcha. Okay, and cooperative grouping?
Yeah, the cooperative grouping, I mean, I use it all the time in science.
Mhm.
Usually in the form of the lab activities, but also with other, it doesn't have to be a lab per se. It can be other activities. Recently, let's see, we did a lab before spring break. We did an evolution lab where we worked in groups of 4.
Mhm.
And then we're starting digestion this week, and I got a piece of, that big brown paper you get at the teacher shop.
Yeah.
And they're going to trace one of their friends out and cooperate. Each person's going to be responsible for one organ of the digestive system.
Okay.
Trace one of their friends out, and then the next day we'll have different groups, and we'll work on another project I have lined out for them. So we'll just kind of switch it up. But I always use groups. I love using groups.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, reciprocal reading. Do y'all do that? It's been a big push recently.
Refresh my memory on reciprocal reading. Does it have another name?
I'm not sure. It's where you get a strong reader to read through the paper, and then they kind of stop with words they don't know, or if they have a question, clarification. So it's kind of a read and discuss.
I've done that with my Biology 2 kids. I haven't done it with Biology 1.
Yeah, it's a new experience because I found that a lot of the students are offended that they weren't chosen first, and then they don't want to speak up. But we're getting to where it's getting a little bit better, and they'll stop them now. But it takes a little while. It's quite a process.
Oh, yeah. Getting the hang of it.
All right. Chastity, can you see that?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
2 things.
Mhm.
Number 1, my daughter was hollering in the background, so storage is supposed to be shortage, not storage.
Oh, that's fine.
There. The storage. Anyways, and I thought we were supposed to do it on I thought we were supposed to talk about tonight about preparing for challenging students and stuff in your cooperative group, so I didn't put any of that in there.
That's okay.
But I will talk about it. Some of our community things are the AHEC. It's where they tried to help alleviate some of the shortages of healthcare jobs. So they created a program during the summer where kids actually receive half a credit toward their high school electives. So it's not just preparing them for a future job in the healthcare profession, but also benefiting them while they're still in high school. So somewhat like, it's kind of the equivalent of dual enrollment classes.
Right.
It's for your future, but you're still getting to do it, and it's counting for you in high school.
Do they actually offer a certification in it?
I don't think ours. Well, they do the CPR.
Okay. They don't have like a CNA
CPR
program.
I don't think ours does. I think ours is that we do like at our hospital, and maybe other places they may do that. I'm not sure, but at our hospital, it's like all the students that I've had gone through it, they got their credit and they got their CPR certification.
Okay.
And it was kind of to help prepare them for the healthcare profession.
Okay.
Anyways, that's a really good route to take, especially because I don't want someone that's never had experience in the nursing field or not sure. So it weans them out pretty quick.
Right.
But as far as the challenging students, I have one in one of my ag classes. He does have accommodations, but he's not. It's really, really mild, like really, really mild accommodations. But he likes to be the center of attention and talk. He likes to always put his input in, and he always likes me to hear him. So if we're doing something where he doesn't need to be talking, I stand close to him, and that way if he does have a need to say something, it's not as loud and distractive because I'm right there. Also, in some of our projects and stuff, or some of our just regular lessons, he's in charge. So everyone gets to hear him. He gets to talk. So he's actually the leader sometimes. Which, I mean, he's a very responsible and dependable student. It's just his attention span and his just will to act out. He likes to be funny.
Is this the same one
anyways,
that you were having problems with before Christmas? And we talked about making him leader?
I have had problems with him. He was one of my main ones.
Okay.
And when I think of a challenging student, he's the first one that comes to mind. So that's probably the same one before Christmas. I mean, seriously. But now he's my leader. And like responsibility wise, like if something needs to be taken care of, he's the first one that I pick.
Good.
So he does still get to talk and stuff, ma'am.
No, I've said I just remember talking to you about one that was like out of control, and we had talked about putting him in charge and seeing if that worked. So I'm glad that worked.
I do believe that's him.
Okay.
Now in like my PE classes, because I do have special education students in there too. I do have one boy that has autism. We have worked around, like his adaptive PE teacher and his regular special ed teacher. We found a class that actually fits him, and we're hoping that next year, even as he grows and ages again, that's a class that he'll be able to stay with, because they're very receptive of him and he's very receptive of them. But he like if he starts acting out and does something, like I go to him, and then it's kind of like he calms down a little bit because everybody got to see him set his piece. But then he knows, like, okay, I gotta retract and I gotta behave now. But the cooperative groups in my ag class, I do a lot of grouping, because with all the accommodations that some of my students have, that's the best way to get all of the accommodations taken care of in 50 minutes.
Okay.
It seems to work out the best because I have peer leaders. I have one-on-one help. It's also there with someone that's maybe a little stronger than they are, that maybe will give them an example of what to do. So I do a lot of group work.
Okay.
They also feed off of each other on their ideas and stuff. So.
All right. What about
That's about it.
in PE? Do you have any cooperative grouping in your PE classes?
Yes, mostly with my older students, because they're doing a little bit more advanced stuff as far as basing it on real life. Like especially with my seniors and stuff, they do, because they're trying to create routines for their future, for when they go to college and they're freshmen 15 and stuff, and jobs, they'll have jobs and all of that, and they I was trying to give them a little idea about they can do it at home. They don't got to go to the gym or stuff. So.
Gotcha. Okay, well, let's go ahead and look at these few slides. We're almost done. So when we're talking about an individual student that's challenging to us that we have yet to connect with, one way to do it is to step back, and it's hard for us to do it because we're used to our way and the way we think and what we already know. So what we try to do is just clear your mind and ask, just stand back and watch. What do you notice about the student? What do they look like? How are they built? What's their background, language? How do they act with other people? Do they have skills? Are they deficit in reading or math? What's their motivation, attitude? What is their self-concept? So kind of figuring out the person themselves. And then how are they responding to your lesson? Hang on, I'm fixing to, will y'all hit the mute buttons? I'm getting feedback. You got it? Okay. And then how they're responding. Are they paying attention? Are they engaged? Are they sleeping, doodling, not listening? And how are they interacting with other students? And describe it out. Just write out. Try to be unopinionated. And what's the quality of their work? And the biggest thing is when you get to that point to where you just really want to send them out of the room, it's that point you just need them to go away. Try to name something positive that they did. Find one thing positive that they did and work from that. And then other things that you didn't know about the student. You may ask other teachers. You may have look at their folder, go to the counselors and find out. But all of them are dealing with, life problems, and there's things going on you may not know about that can help you connect with them. So if you're still having problems connecting with certain students, you may want to try this. It's a good way to just try to step back and figure it out rather than just kind of going with what you know from the year. Last but not least, small groups, using them to enhance learning. So when you're using it, when you're walking around, try to ask yourself these questions. Why is this particular small group working together? Why did I put them together? Did they get to pick, or did I assign them? And who's the leader? Did they appoint themselves? Did the group appoint them? Did the teacher appoint them? And how effective is the leader? Is the group completing the assigned task, and how do you know? Are you walking around? Do they have to turn things in on sticky notes so that you know what they're doing? Are they writing a paper? Is it something they have to present? And are all members participating? And what are the different contributions that they make? And find examples of what they're doing. And then lastly, what's the overall impression of this group activity? So each time you use small groups, as you're going around looking to see if you notice that some groups are getting done really quick and others are struggling, go and ask yourself these questions, and maybe you'll be able to regroup them or find out what you're doing right in some groups or how things may flow differently in others. So the challenging students that we just went over, these are all reflection questions for the teachers, if you noticed. Not so much what can we do to change this student, but what's going on that'll help you have a different connection or opinion or outlook on this child. And when we're doing small groups, we like to think that everybody's working, everybody's doing their job, but how do we really know that and what's really going on? So did you appoint them all, and what would happen if you didn't? Do you think that the same things would happen, or do you think it'd be total chaos? And then definitely, what is the overall impression? You got to figure out, some of them may have been working together since the beginning of the year. I try to keep mine, I change their seating every 6 weeks and put them with a new group. That way they don't get comfortable. And every week, the roles switch. So everybody has a turn. Everybody has to have that role at some point. But by the end of the year, you know the effective leaders who can do what. And, like if you have a timekeeper, a leader, somebody that writes, and somebody that does supplies, do they have a stronger role? And is everybody able to do the roles assigned? If not, what are the weaknesses and how can you strengthen these students? All right, our next meeting is Wednesday, April 27th. That'll be the last one. And y'all have any questions, comments, concerns? I know Cody is dying to stay on here another 40 minutes. All right, I'm going to...
I'd be up for it.
Do what?
I said I'd be up for it.
All right, well, since we struggled and tried for so long to get this meeting going, we are officially done. So I'm going to let y'all go, and we'll see on the 27th, and then we'll try to do our last PLC like the next few days after, so we'll just be done with it.
All right.
All right, if y'all come up with anything, let me know. I'm here if you need me. I appreciate y'all's flexibility, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
No problem. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.